Welcome to the Team Templarii guide to farming the Scarlet Spear Operation, Ground Assault. There are two parts to this event. The one of focus for this guide is the Ground Assault. In this guide we will be discussing the following: Loadouts, spawn locations and mapwork, fight mechanics, and speed. Loadouts, operator focus skills. The operator should have some of the basic waybound passives unlocked. Zenuric Void Flow for a larger energy pool allowing for much greater operator functionality. Naramon Mind Sprint for increased speed and distance. These two nodes will greatly contribute to the speed of your mission. The next three are not critical to the mission but will improve your survivability during the mission. The following waybound passives are Zenuric Void Siphon, which is optional, for increased energy regen, Unairu Basilisk Scales, which increases armor, and Vazarin Enduring Tides, which increases HP. We recommend Zenuric or Unairu as the optimal active focus trees. For active Zenuric users, Energizing Dash is required for energy regen. Optionally, the bottom half of the tree lends excellent crowd control and viable combat options for hybridized combat. Operator and Warframe. We will explore some of this in more detail later in this guide. For active Unairu users, Sundering Dash is required. Optionally, Crippling Dash, Magnetic Blast, Stone Skin also provide excellent options for hybridized combat. For amps, we suggest a Clamora Prism, Propa Scaffold, backed by the Certus Crit Brace. This type of amp, supported by Magus Lockdown and Magus Repair or Magus Elevate, can be a very nice layer of CC and security while adding damage on top of the Warframe or weapon damage. We consider hybridized gameplay to be not only efficient but can generate high burst in intense situations. Primary weapons. For primary weapons, we suggest high crit, high damage, or fast fire rate weapons, such as the Exceltra, the Kuva Brahma, although primaries are used very situationally for this fight. Secondary weapons. For secondaries, we recommend the Catch Moon to quickly dispatch air lists. In a punch through in the Catch Moon makes it easy to destroy canisters at high speed. It is also for this same reason we recommended the Clamora Prism on the amp earlier in the operator section. High crit damage with high fire rate and punch through. Melee weapons. For melee, we strongly recommend any slow, high damage Zaw made from these following parts. Any Zaw head, preferably the Plague series weapons if you have them, for example the Kripath or the Kiwar, the Stung, and the Varji2 Bruhang. This will yield the slowest and highest crit and damage Zaw available. For the melee build, Contagion is required for the build. We strongly recommend this because if you want to get into the endgame, it is definitely worth building a Zaw like this as it translates well, very well with other endgame content. Warframes. Limbo. The ground team requires at minimum a Limbo. The reason why is to protect the oplinks. No oplink, no more mission. Another advantage that Limbo brings to the table is that he can be somewhere else while defending a static location, which is where the oplinks are. Activating his number 4 ability, Cataclysm, in combination with number 2, Stasis, Limbo players should always keep an eye on their cast timers and avoid being downed or despawned through falling, because any of these things removes the Cataclysm, which means the oplinks are now susceptible to damage. Mesa. The second Warframe for a multiplayer squad would be a Mesa. Mesa should be a good overwatch point to rapidly kill sentients as they spawn in, as she can kill sentients before they even hit the ground. Mesa's auto-tracking and high rate of fire allows her to delete enemies on the field. Take note that at higher levels, sentients will require many more shots. Buff frames. The third and fourth Warframes should be buff frames. Examples of buff frames are Wisp, Octavia, Chroma, Rhino. For most of these Warframes, the higher the power strength, somewhere around 300% power strength, preferably, the better, and with some duration and range according to your playstyle. Due to Xeneric Energy Regen and Limbo's passive for the Tenno who are in the Cataclysm or in the Rift, we believe efficiency is not an issue for this type of mission. Spawn locations in Mapwork. When you spawn in, it is the typical Earth tile set. There are 4 rooms we need to be concerned with, Room A being on one endpoint and Room D the opposite in a series of attached rooms. The first largest spawnable room we will pass is Room B. It is on the way to the first spawn point, but not the actual spawn room where the Condrix is located, so you'll be passing this room as you're heading towards your first objective. The first spawn room is actually Room C. During the uplink phase, find the extension that leads to D. It is easy to find because D is never in the direction of spawn, and it'll always be a little hallway that's somewhat connected to Room C, but never towards spawn. We know that the ground mission has Rooms A, B, C, and D. B is the first one we passed along the way to Room C. Room C is the first Condrix spawn point. After finding and completing Room C, we headed to Room D. And after completing that, we now have to head to Room A, which is the point closest to the extraction. It is the opposite end. So to find A, we make our way back to the first room that we took note of, that we passed along the way, which is Room B. Find the extension that leads to Room A. Once you have found Room A, the rest is easy. It always goes in the order of A, B, C, D from here, and then goes back to A. So from here, you'll know exactly where every Condrix will be spawning. We have also linked in the description possible spawn locations. Here are the possible Condrix spawn locations for this event. Fight mechanics. The fight starts with the opening of the eye. While the eye is open, we'll spawn sentience and then close again, once receiving 1/3 of its HP in damage. The eye will not start the next phase until all the sentients that have been spawned are destroyed. Just take note that Contagion can still damage the eye through damage over time effects. All Warframes, including Mesa, can still contribute 1 or 2 Contagion throws before the eye is actually open and vulnerable at the beginning of every phase, and before the sentients even spawn in. Contagion sticks to the target, doing damage over time, then exploding after 5 seconds. Basically adding a few layers of damage on the Condrix. Have awareness over the distance to your target as you want to throw from a 30 meter or greater distance so that you can receive the 300% bonus damage from Contagion. Killing sentients at high speed is important because that allows for the next eye phase to begin. There are 3 eye phases which spawn multiple sentients every time they open. Once the sentient from the final phase are destroyed, the uplink phase begins. It's important to have dedicated Warframes to each of these tasks as it significantly speeds up the run. Some things to note. Sentients are weak to corrosive, which is why we recommend corrosive in all of your loadouts, and are also immune to status effects. As sentients lose HP from damage, just be aware that they do get a damage reduction from buff against the most type of damage that was received. So, that means make sure that your weapons are either really hard hitting or have an extremely high fast fire rate. Also note that every 3 rounds, starting from round 3 and also on round 17, an airlist will spawn. Airlists are immune to all damage until their belts are broken. The belts consist of 8 canisters which need to be broken. And then damage can be inflicted only within a few second window. Use the catch moon or amp to break canisters, and be sure to mark targets to redirect fire to the air list. Speed. Much of the speed of the run is getting used to the rhythm of the fight, learning the map layout, learning the spawn points, and using that information all to your advantage. For example, As the last Oplinks are deployed and protected by Cataclysm, the Limbo can leave the Rift when it's appropriate, meaning the duration on Cataclysm exceeds the Oplink timer that is remaining. If not, Limbo can just recast the Cataclysm. That way all members can go to the new location before the old one is complete. Basically, you're ready for the next Condrix drop before the previous one has even finished. This is the efficiency you want to attain in order to speedrun effectively. We've noticed that Oplink completion time is directly related to the more Oplinks that are down. It is for this reason alone there are differences in completion time relative to the squad size. So 4-man squad missions usually are the fastest. They take between 18 minutes to 20 minutes. 2-man squads will be around 22 to 25, somewhere around there, and 3-man squads probably somewhere in between. Please comment if you wish to see any other endgame related content, for example Eidolon hunting, how to level Warframes in 10 minutes, Profit Taker speedruns, best composition for farming resources like toroids, plastids, or polymer bundles. Please like and subscribe, we always appreciate your love, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, and take care.